enjoy, and we'll see you at the end of the video.
Okay, fine, good.
Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. For today we'll talk about internship, how to get to internship, what internship is, and then give you also some tips to survive internship. Hope you'll enjoy, and we'll see you at the end of the video.
Okay, fine, good.
So first we'll talk about what is internship.
Oh.
Oh, you know. So this is what happens after you finish 6th year or 5th year, whichever your final year is. You have to do, these days it's 1 year of internship at a medical facility that's usually approved by the board, which has a logbook which you fill in and make sure you acquire certain skills and has satisfied the board for you to be registered as a doctor. Sawa. And it used to be 2 years, I think, a while back.
For real?
Yeah, then now it's now 1 year. Yeah, 1 year internship. Yeah. So we'll start with now what's the process of applying for internship. Now you finished exams, you've gotten your results. How are you getting an internship center?
It depends on the university.
Yeah.
For big schools, like I say big in terms of like the number of students they have, University of Nairobi and I think Moi, you ballot, meaning there's a selected number of centers and each center has a selected number of spots that they can offer. So if you want to go to, let's say, Nakuru, so let's say there are 6 people who want to go to Nakuru, but there are only 4 spots. So you ballot, you go pick a paper. If it's stamped Nakuru, you're going there. If it's not stamped Nakuru,
you wait.
Yeah.
Ballot for Kina.
Yeah. You wait for everyone else to finish balloting.
Yeah.
And then the spots that where there are, or the centers where there were spots, you ballot again.
Yeah.
If you don't get, you wait
Again.
again.
You will read again until you're there at 6 p.m. and you just take whatever's left over. So that's what you can do. I think Naisola, you went through that. Naisola.
Wow, it was so bad.
I balloted 4 times.
We even had to come back the next day.
The next day, like the
ballot
ballot
again.
Yeah, it was so bad. And then you just
guys,
stressed, you're upset.
Because all your top choices have already
Have
gone.
gone.
Yeah.
So now you have to settle.
And these are centers no one wants.
Yeah, like nobody wants to go there.
Those are the ones that are left.
Yeah. So
It was such a
to the
process.
hustle.
And then like that's when you're like, nobody's your friend when you're balloting.
That's true.
Wow. And then of course there are people who get special priorities.
Yeah.
So it's not like some of the available spots are already gone.
They're gone.
Yeah.
So like for University of Nairobi, if you are an official, but even like then, like the class had to agree that this one is
Yeah.
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 Like if the person for notes, you know yourself, Effie, one day,
I she deserves
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Did we give her?
Like she
Yeah.
deserves
She
it.
deserves
Like she used to
Yeah.
compile for
100.
the entire class and maybe subsequent classes.
Class
Very
notes.
good notes.
Ay,
Yeah.
God bless you.
Like you don't
Wherever
really
are.
need to write
For
it
entire
down.
years, like the whole of 5th year, the whole of
And
4th
it's
year,
organized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
that one. Clap for her.
Hey. I know someone will just be seeing notes compiled by Effie.
Yeah.
Effie Naila with a
Yeah.
quote at the end.
Yeah. She did a good job.
A really good job, yeah. And then also, sorry, we're grateful. Also, if you're married,
Yeah.
you have priority. If you have a child, if you're a foreigner,
But now that has changed.
That has changed
from
now.
this year, they're not posting the foreign students, and
so what happens?
and the government is not paying them, so they have to go and you just have to sort yourself. Like go and apply to hospitals personally. Because then if you're posted to a government hospital, you're not going to be paid.
No, that's chivalry.
And anyway, that money is such an incentive when you're an intern. I don't think it's reasonable to do it without being paid.
Yeah.
Why would they educate you for 6 years and then
Yeah.
just leave you like that?
Imagine. Because that started now, I know it started this year.
They're just getting worse by the day.
True.
Yeah, so that's the process of applying for internship.
Yeah. An internship, you have to do it. If you want a license at the end of the day, that 1 year is mandatory.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
Then now there are certain documents which you need to get, but now I guess you'll find out when you get there. But there are very many documents.
Nobody told us that we're gonna spend so much money
and so much time.
just up and down. After that maybe what is that road called? That
The one
section,
for
community.
yeah,
Community,
yeah,
yeah.
community. After house, NHF, NSSF, what else?
Lawyers.
Lawyers,
Yeah.
stamps.
Kai photocopy.
KRA,
It was
you need a
hard to
KRA
take.
pin,
Yeah.
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 having an account.
So be
Yeah.
prepared. After you pass your exams, you balloted and decided on where you want to go. You need at least, it was like 10K, because you need 5K for the license.
Yeah.
License.
Yeah.
And then I think some other miscellaneous costs.
Yeah.
So just have a budget of like 15K to just sort you out. Now prior to starting internship.
And then you also have to go to your center
Oh
to
yeah.
get
Yes,
your
to get
acceptance
your-
letter,
yeah.
which you now take back to the
MOH.
board, MOH, yeah.
Was it? There's something you have to drop. You have to drop your.
You have to drop the list.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
list, the
That has
posting
your
order.
name.
Posting
Yeah.
order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of up and down and then a
Yeah.
lot of money spent in
Yeah.
that period. Yeah.
But don't worry, at the time, I'm sure, people make it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we had a whole video
Of-
of just
of how to
to
do
go
what
about
fill
it,
in the
which was
form.
really helpful.
Yeah.
We
Collect
did.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
collect
collect
it.
it.
Like she just recorded, okay, so this
This
is
is
what
what
you
you
need.
need.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which
It was
made
very
it a lot
Oh
easier.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, guy, make sure you have passport photos.
Oh
They
yeah.
are- as in, honestly, you spend so much money getting passport photos because this one asks for 4, this one asks for 2, this one asks for just like, aye, I'm
Yeah.
choking.
Then there's the other option of applying through CHAC for admission
oh yeah,
hospital. But that's now dependent on what they require. But most of the time you write your letter, you need a recommendation letter from
Which letter?
you need a recommendation letter like from a faith-based leader and
Oh,
like
yeah,
from
yeah,
some
yeah. Oh, yeah.
other like
Yeah.
institution itself, yeah. And then you get interviewed, now depending on the number of
Mm.
slots, and now they post you.
Yeah.
Then now there are also some private hospitals that offer internship, like
Yeah.
Mater Hospital,
Like a card.
Isha, Aga Khan.
Mm.
Yeah, so those ones now you apply directly, and then now depending now they have their own interview process and
Yeah.
all of that.
Mm.
Mm.
So now let's go to internship itself.
Mm.
What about it?
What
Choosing a
there's so many.
center,
Now you've chosen your center, now you've arrived at at your
um,
internship center.
Okay, before before you even get to internship, I think it's also important to, as you're choosing your center, you need to decide what are your goals for the internship year.
Yeah.
So do you just want to have a breeze? Do you want to learn? Do you want to go to a place where you'll be exposed to a lot? You need to figure out what are your goals before you even choose your internship center, so that when you're choosing it, you're not choosing it just because it's saying close to home, you're going with your friends, but you also need to know this is a year of your life, so you need to know how am I going to spend it. Yeah. So
Even like, are you more inclined to surgery?
Oh,
Some
yeah.
areas
Your
are more-
interests, yeah, because there's some facilities that are more, you'll get more surgical experience, others will get more medical experience. Yeah, so you need to think about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're good at being resourceful and
Improvising.
or if you just want to learn laparoscopy.
Yeah.
And then you also can consider, for some people, also distance as well. Do
Mm.
you want to be close to your family? Do you want to be close to your home? You want to just have a whole different experience, because that's also something you can consider. Because also moving
Yeah,
is
yeah.
another process, and
It's
terms
so
is stressful.
expensive.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
expensive. That's another expense.
Yeah.
Getting a house and moving
Furnishing
there.
it.
Yeah,
Mm.
because by this time you've still not yet been paid, so you have to deal with all those expenses. So now you've reached your internship center. Can you just talk about like your experience as a fresh intern?
Yeah.
How was it for you?
I was so anxious. I was so nervous because I felt like there's this huge responsibility on me to care for patients. And when you're now in the center in school, there was always the comfort of it's okay. There's always somebody more senior than I am. There's always like you're never the one who is in charge of management of this patient.
That's true. Yeah.
You're always suggesting what should we do for this patient, but at the end of the day, you're not the one who's required to make the decisions.
It's
So
like,
there was that safety net.
yeah.
But now you're the one who's making the decisions. The nurses are the ones looking at you, asking, "Doc, what do we do?" You have never been asked that before.
Lucky.
Yeah, so I felt it was a bit overwhelming. Yeah, and then the added pressure of being in a new place, trying to adjust as well to the hours, the environment. Yeah, it was Hey, it was hectic. Yeah.
For me, okay, fine, let me just say, I think Naisela, she's a very particular person. So yeah, I think yeah, things were hectic for you. But for some of us, you just show up and then no, like you show up and then you just see, where things go. So like for me, if there's one thing I like is I like keeping time. So if you say 8, I'll show up at 8. If I don't show up at 8, something has happened, then I'll communicate. So me, I showed up at 8 because I was told that you just come at 8 and then the ward run starts. So I'm there outside the ward waiting for now the intern who was going to come and show me this is what you do. 8:15, no one. 8:30, no one. Even the cleaner is asking me, ati, "Ai, hii ni siku yako ya kwanza?" I'm like, "Hey." Ati huku watu hawafikangi 8. I'm like, okay, wanafikanga what time? By 8:30, 8:45 hapo. So 8:45, I'm still waiting. Do you know the intern came at 9:30? Hadi I'm just
For
like,
the round.
yes.
That's a whole hour you could have slept.
Imagine.
I would have slept. That
I was
whole
just
hour.
like, imagine you should have just communicated. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how I started. I started very disappointed just by that experience. Yeah.
Or for me, yeah, it's just that feeling of newness, in a new environment. It's an experience. I think I was lucky to be there with someone I was really good friends with. So it took away a bit of the anxiety and the stress because you're in it together. I remember the first day we went for Midodon, it ended at 2 p.m. I was so exhausted because now it was in pediatrics and we were doing pediatrics and NBU, the Midodon on the same day. But after that, they split it such that certain days were for the department. Like, that's where the internship coordinator was a consultant for pediatrics. So she said we meet there and then we start there before we're taken to our departments. So yeah, I was just overwhelmed. Like, and that time, like, I remember we reached NB and then one of the MOs was telling us that he started taking vitals. And I'm like, what? In NBU? What do you mean? Start taking vitals?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're so fresh and you're so lost. And you're like, wow. Then after that, we were taken to a department. But one thing I really appreciate is that we were taken to a department that had 2 other interns, now the ones who were leaving. And they were just gracious enough not to have us do a call on the first night. So for the first week, we didn't do any of the weekday calls. So that they said, let you can have time to learn the system, at least learn various managements before now you do a call. Then now we did the weekend call. So
Tell them about that one. Tell them about that
we'll
one.
come to it. Yeah.
Okay, me, I was excited. I was so excited. I got the center I wanted to go to. I didn't even have to ballot twice. I was just so ready. I know. So I got there so early in my lab coat. And then I'm calling my colleagues, like, you guys, where are you? See, we're starting today. They've come to do it in the office. They're not even in their lab coats. Like, it was not a starting day. It was like an oriented.
She's there. Where are my patients? Where are my patients?
I was so ready. But anyway, it was a good experience. I like the idea of newness.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Yeah. The anxiety of the unknown
is just so hard.
But you're not alone, and you
But
learn.
you're just suffering inside.
Yeah. You know what some nurse told me? She said when I was like the first time I went to theater, and she's like, "Who you? Alikuwa naongea hivi." I'm just like, that's a lie. And she tells everyone that. She's bossing me around telling me. I'm just like, that can't be me. I just hate newness because I feel like I have to be timid just to assess the surrounding. Yeah, and it's not me. Yeah.
Now we'll talk about rotation. What was your favorite rotation and what was your least favorite rotation? Because I think we did 5 rotations in total. Including psychiatry. Although this was one else, but still, like, okay, fine. There was supposed to be 6 actually.
Yeah. For me, my favorite rotation, I'd say, was obstetrics, because although it was so hectic and it was so busy and there were very many sleepless nights, I felt like that's where I was a real doctor. Like, you see, in obs, you're the one who's making the decisions, you're the one calling the shots. In theater, you're the lead surgeon. So I felt like that's where, honestly, I felt like, wow, I'm the one who's making the decisions. The worst was surgery, because I came from obs and I didn't have a break, and obs was very intense. So in surg, I was so burnt out and I was so tired. So, and then things were just not working. Like, there was always something wrong happening in Surg. So for me, it was just bad. I was just so tired, and I just wanted it to end. Yeah.
I think for me, I'd say the same. Obs was like my most enjoyable rotation. Because yeah, you have so much say in what goes. And my worst was IMED. Me and IMED were just not friends. Yeah, IMED.
What didn't you like about it?
About IMED, I feel like there's a lot of guesswork.
Yeah.
Like, because, okay, most of the times you're not certain what's going on. And as I've said previously, diseases don't read books.
Yeah.
So, like, it doesn't show up the way you expect it. So, there's a lot of, you're just trying to figure out, it's like a puzzle. Like, so they had this yesterday, oh, this is happening today. And I'm like, me, I just don't like that.
It's funny because I really enjoy that.
Are you
The
serious?
puzzle, trying to put the pieces together. And then once you finally get it, you're like, wow.
If you have guidance, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like for most of us, the consultant comes once or twice a week.
Yeah.
So it's literally you and the MO, and even the MO is not like 1,000% sure what's happening.
Oh.
So it's a lot of unknown.
For me, my favorite was obstetrics, as in I loved that rotation so much. Yes, it was busy, but at least we were a good number. We were 4 of us in that rotation, so the load was divided well. And then it's very engaging, it's very hands-on, especially if your senior colleagues, your MOs and your consultants trust you and want you to learn. You learn and you'll have such a good time. I really appreciated the consultants we had in obstetrics. They were very friendly, very approachable. Because I remember, like, at the beginning of the round, he would say, just relax. Like, if you notice your 10, when you ask a question, just relax. Me, I want you to learn, and you won't learn if you're anxious or you're feeling intimidated or stressed. Like, you'd make it very, we're at the same level, so that you can be able to learn, and also you're freer to ask questions, to give your suggestions, comments. I really liked that. Like, I really, really enjoyed obstetrics, even the entire team, the nurses, the MOs, the mothers themselves.
Yeah.
It was a very good experience. And it's really very rewarding.
Yeah,
I find
it's
so
very
rewarding.
Very.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Even if I don't want to do obstetrics in future, I really enjoyed it. The one I least enjoyed was internal medicine.
I thought you'd say peds.
Imagine for me, peds wasn't as terrible for me. I don't know what it was with me and internal medicine. I don't know, like the consultant just used to intimidate me so much. And Robert didn't even understand it. I don't know why. Even you met him, but you didn't understand why he was just intimidated. Like, sometimes you just come and just feel my pulse because you can tell I'm anxious and relax. Yeah, I don't know what was happening there. So that's like really got to me a lot. And again, there's so many mortalities in IMED. You're like, no, surely. Because you also, like, in a resource limited center, you're like, I could have done this and this if I had, but now this is holding me back so much. That's why we can't give the best quality of care, in all honesty, to these patients.
Yeah.
So that was something that was very a big gap I noticed.
Okay. Mine is exactly like Wanjogo's, and the best for all of us has been
Which is
so
very
interesting.
shocking.
Because people always like,
I did
obstetrics
think-
is the worst.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
It's the busiest,
It's
most
but it's
definitely,
nice.
but it's very
I
rewarding.
loved it. It was
Yeah.
amazing. Because I started with obstetrics from day one. Everyone is friendly.
Yeah.
The MOs, the consultant, oh my gosh, the nurses. It's such a beautiful environment. No one is angry. No one is. I mean, we're stressed, but it's a nice kind of stress.
And then
Everyone
again,
is
everyone
cracking
wants to help.
jokes. Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
is
Everyone
willing
wants
to help.
exactly. And you learn so much. And like she said, you're in charge of this patient, like wholly. You're making decisions. So it's really affirming.
Yeah.
My worst was surgery. It was horrible. Oh my god. It was at the it was at the height of Corona.
I know.
And
Yeah,
it was bad. Guy, we barely did anything because the electives were cancelled.
Yeah.
Emergencies were so few because people are not coming to hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think everyone was lax, from the interns to the MOs to the consultant to the nurses. Everyone was just not in the best headspace.
Yeah.
So it was not the best learning experience. I could say a lot, but yeah, surgery was horrible.
now that you mentioned COVID, since like I think we're like the first group of people to do internship
Ah.
during a pandemic.
Yeah.
So what was your experience like?
For me, I was also in Surge during the peak of, or rather when Corona first came. So exactly the same experience. Like NHS was not approving electives on emergencies. So even in terms of my experience, I feel like in another setting, in another time, I feel like I'd have gotten more exposure. Yeah, but you know what? That's how it happened. So it's
Yeah,
okay.
it is what it is.
But the second wave of COVID hit when I was in internal medicine. There it was crazy because I saw so many deaths and I saw the worst side of COVID. Like patients not responding to medication, somebody's already in ICU, intubated, and there's nothing more you can do for them. You just see them slowly dying. So it was a bit, and then the exposure, like you're exposed to so many patients. So, you know, when you go home, you keep wondering, like, I've been exposed to so many patients who are COVID positive. I might have it. So there's also that fear at the back of your mind. So that's actually what informed my decision to get the vaccine because I saw the worst side of it. So I was like, if there's an opportunity for me to prevent, experiencing this, imagine I take it with both hands. Yeah.
So were you directly taking care? Were you the primary caregiver of the COVID
Yeah,
patients?
we were, because we were the ones who were, now you're the one who is taking like their blood samples, you're the one who is admitting them, reviewing them.
Were you taking the swabs?
No,
It's a team.
it's the lab who used to come
Were
and do
you
that.
in PPE full time?
No,
Did you have an isolation?
we tried to have to isolate the patients, but not really an isolation ward.
I think that's hard.
Yeah, it was difficult because you know it's something that's new and nobody has ever dealt with this virus before. So everyone, including the hospital, is trying to adapt to how best can we work with this. And then on the other end, now the county government is also trying to give directives on how to do it. Like, it was just a confused time. And at the same time, you can't deny these patients care because they are sick, you took an oath. But also there's that fear of you yourself, there's only one you, so you yourself getting ill. So it was quite rough. I remember because that was like in August, September. Yeah, it was a bit hectic.
So something else about working when there was COVID is, especially when you're on call, people don't really come to hospital. So like your calls were a bit of quiet. Yeah, they were a bit quiet. Yeah, because first of all there was the, what's it called? The time. The curfew, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There was a curfew, so yeah, people don't want to be found outside past curfew. So there was a reduced number of patients who come at night. Yeah.
In our mind was the opposite. See, I told you surgery was peak of COVID.
Yeah.
Curfew, RTAs.
Oh, yeah.
I knew without a doubt every day at 8 p.m. I'll be called. See, because curfew is 7. So
Yeah.
everyone is trying to get home.
Yeah.
So by 8, the patients who've come into emergency, now by 8, they're all heading to the ward. So daktari, kuna patients wa kuona. It was horrible.
I think for me, I was in OBS at that time. So like mothers were like, unless yani you feel like, yeah. Otherwise, like I think, like honestly, for OBS, I was called for, I think, CSS at night 6 times in total. Like my whole rotation. Yes, my whole rotation. Mine used to come during the day, but now for my colleague, now him at night, used to get them. That's why I'm just like, why are you coming from the hospital at 6 in the morning? Like, oh, a CS. I'm like, why is that?
For me, like, okay, our calls were a thing. I noticed a change, like fewer patients, because I was in IMED like around March when like now they announced the pandemic, we're going to close borders. So yeah, the calls became very quiet. Yeah. But one thing now we had to do was close clinics because we didn't know how to handle it at the first time. Because initially we closed all the clinics, so this meant we were not following up on patients with things like DM and hypertension. Because now the most of the patients who are coming were having issues with hyperglycemia or hypoglycemia and hypertensive emergencies. So there was that whole issue of now follow-up of patients has completely being disrupted.
Yeah.
So we're now having to expect things like that coming up, because that was also quite unfortunate for that to happen.
Mm.
But now after that, we now opened up the clinics, but we're limited to 20 patients per clinic. So you have to give them a longer
Yeah.
period. Yeah. So that's something I noticed. Then of course you might have a scare here and there. Initially there was a lot of panic in the hospital, especially now in the first case was announced in our county. Hey, hey, like people are just like, what, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then in our hospital, masks were just not available. They were being ratioed, which didn't make sense to me. Like masks should be available, but then apparently people were stealing masks and all of that. So now they were rationing the masks. It's like, no, surely.
We were being made to recycle our masks.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
which was unfortunate. And then I was now also, we didn't have a critical care center. So even if we had a patient with severe COVID, unless we're transferring them to Nairobi, there's nothing more we could do for them. Yeah, but we did have an isolation center. Initially, I remember I went there twice to review a patient, and I had to dawn and all of that, and it was like so much work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And another challenge initially was not having protocols in the hospital. How do we screen for COVID?
Yeah.
Because many things would present the way COVID presents. Are we going to have to send all patients to isolation and then now sift them afterwards like that, or do they just go to the ward? Yeah,
There's
that's
just
a
so
big
much
challenge.
confusion.
Yeah.
And it's like things kept on changing every week.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they've added this, oh, they've removed that.
Yeah. So now we'll talk about, like, let's go to calls. What was your worst call that you ever did?
Hey.
Wait. Tell them what a call is.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But a call is a call.
But anyway, is it
Being
called a
on
call?
call.
Because
you're called. It means you're working, but not all the time. If there's something happening, then they'll call you to come in. It's different from a shift. You know, a shift, like you have to be there throughout. But for a call, if there's something that comes up, then they'll call you to come in, deal with the situation.
Yeah.
Normally it's a covering nurse who will call you. There's usually a covering nurse. Now they'll call for everyone in every department who's on call. And that tip is just, it's either you get a different line or you have a separate ringtone for the covering. Because even me, I know the ringtone which I put for the covering. Whenever I hear it,
Even me.
PTSD.
If you just shake a little inside, I don't remember why I'm not an intern anymore. Yeah, because that would really help. Also, you already know, it's the covering, it's the hospital calling me.
Yeah.
And then as an intern, you're the first on call.
Yes.
Which means all calls come through you. You have to go and review all the patients.
Yes.
If you can't handle, then you call your second on call, who is now the medical officer. Rarely you'll have to call the third on call, the consultant. Yeah, but when you're killer kitu.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
For the phone thing, may think get another phone.
Just
buy another phone.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I was told that when I started internship, and honestly, it's the best thing I was told. Shout out to my friend who told me that, because when you're not covering the weekends, literally just switch it off.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Because
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Because you'll realize they'll still call you.
Yeah.
Even if they know you're not the one who is on call.
Yeah.
Especially if they can't find who was on call. I don't know why they just assume that
You're
you're
together.
ready and willing to do it, like you have nothing else. Like I'm just ready to do a call.
I used to get called to be asked who's on call in surgery, who's on call in IMED, who's in PIS.
And you're just
I'm just like, sis, funny.
And they have a rota. They have the rota.
I remember there was this one nice covering nurse. You know, if you're called like so early, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm being called already. And she'll just be like, Doctor, it's Scooby. I just wanted to confirm if you're done on call.
Like this call.
Yeah.
It gives them that.
It gives them the okay, so.
Okay, but then also, the thing for switching off your phone when you're not on call. So there's a time I was on call, but my phone was on Do Not Disturb. I had forgotten. I had completely forgotten. And I was in surge at the time. Hey, she called like, I found 10 missed calls.
Wow.
Eventually, when she didn't get me, she called my colleague. And he was so nice. Imagine he went.
Oh.
Yeah, so we just agreed, okay, you do tonight, then
then
I'll do
you
for you the next one.
Yeah.
A similar thing happened to my friend, but now Safaricom had an issue.
Oh.
So she was called, she had 43 missed calls.
Wow.
43. That time,
From
the,
who?
from covering.
Guys.
Guys, they called the second one call.
So covering even called the consultant. She's just
Wow.
like, wow. Now what do I do? So she looked it up on Twitter, and Safaricom was having an issue.
Oh.
So she was just like, imagine. No.
See me.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I was just like 43. But nothing. I'm packing my bag. Internship is over.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So now my last call, I was in pediatrics. That night I think I slept 2 hours. I had worked the whole day and now I was on call at night. And my call started at 6 and they decided I wasn't gonna sleep. That night it was emergency after emergency. Yani, I was just bugging like literally the whole night. One is desaturating, you go, you resuscitate. Another one comes, you go. And at some point I called my second on call and she was like, imagine if you've done it for over 20 minutes, just call it. I'm like, no, this is a child, this is someone's precious child.
Yeah.
And I just kept on bugging. Okay, I didn't sleep that whole night. Let me tell you, the next day I was so sick. I got the worst tonsillitis of my life. I was so sick. I had to stay home for a whole week.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll never forget that day. Guys.
Mine was okay. Something different is we used to do hospital calls, meaning you're called to any department. So I remember this time it was I had 2 unstable patients, like the ones you just know if your phone rings, it's either this one or this other one. So now they decided at the same time they will have issues. So now I was called to, now one of them was in the male surgical ward, the other one was in where was she? It was IMED. Yeah. So now I was called for resuscitation for both of them at the same time. I was just like, I was been asking the nurse, who seems worse? You know, I just like, where do I go first? So anyway, it ended badly. They both didn't make it. And now the one who was in IMED, she was a lady who had a 1-month-old baby. And I just felt so bad for her because I felt like there was so much we could have done because she had features of a PE and she was supposed to go for the CTPA for now imaging the next morning because now you see now there like you have to pay, like things don't just happen like that is a procedure. So she had just paid and she was supposed to go the next morning and then it was at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. she just didn't make it. I felt so bad. Yeah, so that was just such a, and then it was like it was Saturday night, so it happened on Sunday. Then I had to break the news to her husband on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. And he was, imagine, but he just made me feel like it's okay because like I know you tried your best and when can I come and pick the baby because she was with the baby in hospital. But something I found so nice was like the room she was in, okay, now for us, if Amanda comes with the baby, we put them in pediatrics. Because they have the baby. So now when everything was happening, now the mothers in the room, they took turns to take care of her baby. Aki, I was just like, okay, you guys, this is just so nice. But that was just such a hard weekend. Like when it was over, I was just like, I'm so happy this weekend is over.
Wow. So I have 2. The first one was a weekend call in IMED. And when a weekend call is bad, it's bad because
Okay,
you're alone. There's no reprieve or people are coming the next day. You're not. Yeah. So that weekend call in IMED, the patients in the ward were so sick. I remember certifying 9 people. So 9 people died that
One
weekend.
weekend.
One weekend. It was so bad because left, right, and center you're being called. This one is not doing well, come review. Another one, this one is not doing well, come review. So on top of that, and then now breaking the news to the 9 different families, that also took a really huge toll. Yeah, so that was it. That was the first one. Then the second bad experience was a maternity weekend call where literally the whole weekend I was in theater just operating on moms who had come, like they had emergencies after emergencies. So that was so bad because like there's no sleeping, there's no eating, there's no showering, there's no doing nothing. Because if you feel like you're finished, you can just dash to the house and freshen up. Hey, you just told dog kuja to review, na mwingine amekuja. Yeah, that was also a very hectic weekend.
Did you ever used to tell them like, especially if it's at night and you're in theater already, you call the ward, you tell them, kama kuna wengine,
Let
bring
it-
them now.
Yeah.
Because once I go, Aki, please just don't call me again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we used to have the consultant was available like for the ward round, not on weekends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he used to come
Oh.
for OBS. OBS they come.
Okay.
Yeah, so I remember I told him about it, how the weekend was so hectic. Because ward rounds now start at 9. So like it's okay, you just go sleep. Hata kama it's 2 hours, we can start at 11. So at least, yeah, that helped me a bit. But otherwise, that was one weekend I never want to relive again.
So they come Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's nice.
Okay.
Must be nice.
I know.
Now for me again, it was also in obstetrics. It was my first call in obstetrics, and my first call was a weekend call. I remember, like, if you've done obstetrics or you know of any obstetric emergencies, like things that can just go very wrong when you're pregnant, all of them came on that weekend. Like I saw all of them, and I was just thinking of now Prof. Qureshi.
Yeah, yeah.
These are things you're telling us about. These are things we know she not at all.
Yeah.
Like bleeding after they delivered, bleeding before they delivered, a ruptured uterus, the baby is not being had moving. Then now ectopic pregnancies.
What?
I was like, hey, okay, I see. There was
What?
bleach one. That's bleach. I was just trying to remember the station we did. So what are the conditions?
Yeah.
I did this and this, and like you're just there alone, and the nurses expect you to know because you're there. You're the senior most at that point.
Yeah.
So many saw all of those things in that weekend. I remember I was awake for 30 hours straight. And not awake actually, I'm just sitting somewhere. I'm awake and I'm moving. I'm moving from the ward to theatre, from theatre back to the ward. Because I remember like now it was the morning, not Monday morning, I had just left theatre. That's when my call is ending. So we just finished the procedure, then the nurse calls me and she's like, just come to the ward, the patient with a tear, a cervical tear. And I was just like, I was so tired. Like I didn't even shower. I just stayed with whatever clothes I was wearing. I went for the water one. Like the consultant could visibly tell I had a bad call.
Yeah.
But now unfortunately at that point we were just 2 of us. It was just me and my colleague Robert. So I had to go to theatre. I was just
On
studying in theatre. Yeah, on Monday.
Yeah.
For elective cases, we did elective cases every day.
Actually, every day.
Yeah.
Electives.
Yeah. We do electives every day. Like if the patients go to theatre, they'll go.
For electives,
Well,
just
every
book
day.
one day.
Or no, it was like if the emergencies,
Oh.
we'll go, we'll take them into
Okay.
emergencies. So yeah, so now there was a patient who needed to go, so I had to go to theatre. Like I just had to, he noticed I was really struggling, so he just told me just go and rest.
Yeah, I was going
Because
to
at
be
that point my back had started giving, like I got severe muscle spasms on my back. I had to go and look for myospas. Yeah, it was really bad because again you're bending for so many procedures.
Oh my gosh.
It was so
That's
bad.
true.
It was so bad. Yeah, that day. Poof.
Yeah.
Hey, it was hectic. And this is your first call in maternity. It was like,
Hey,
guys,
what a
all
welcome.
calls are
Hey,
welcome.
welcome.
Gosh. But luckily I had a good emo. Like even he told me, I'm not tired of seeing you. Because I spent so much time with him that weekend. I was like constantly calling him, oh, kuna CS, kuna CS. Like the patient
Yeah.
for review. Yeah.
Hey, you talked about muscle spasms. Remembered? There's a CS I did, literally like almost on the floor.
And did you notice?
No, the bed was not working.
Oh my gosh.
It couldn't raise. It had a problem. And it was an emergency.
Yeah.
So I had to do it.
Oh my
They
goodness.
were like, no, let's refer the patient. I'm like, no, this patient won't make it.
Oh,
The
they found
baby
it with the
won't
bed?
make it. Yes.
Wow.
The baby won't make it.
Yeah.
I said, let's just start.
Yeah.
Guy, I was like this for a good hour.
Me now, there's this
Hey.
issue. We used to have, like, anytime I did a CS with now my colleague, our height difference is
Tiny.
significant.
Oh yeah.
So now,
did you have a stool?
the stool. Yeah, okay, even if I had a stool, sometimes it wasn't high enough. Now I just said him, me, I have to be your assistant at this point.
Yeah.
Because now he wants the bed high. And let me tell you, when the bed was highest, which is where he was comfortable, it was
It's
literally here. So me, I'm just there. In fact, I'm just leaning on the bed because I'm just like, now you feel really more comfortable. Otherwise, if it's not like raised, he's actually he's bending like this.
I know those struggles. Oh my gosh.
What?
But even for like extracting the baby, imagine I needed a step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Find
sit
out.
down.
Yeah,
Down all
I
the
needed
way.
exercise. I was like, I nimefika, let my stool. Yeah.
Now we go to a lighter note. What was the most enjoyable part of the internship?
the social aspect.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
We really enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah.
For me, that was the best thing about it.
Making money.
That goes so fast.
I mean, at the end of a difficult week, you're looking forward to the weekend because you know you're gonna see your friends,
Yeah.
have a good time.
And we
That was the
planned
best part.
serious trips. Well,
Yeah,
we had fun.
We had
We had
fun.
fun.
And then I think the good thing was most of us were interning outside of Nairobi.
Yeah.
One. Which was very nice. Again,
Yeah.
life outside Nairobi, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Nice.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend
Yeah.
do internship outside Nairobi and experience how it is.
Yeah.
Especially like in smaller towns.
Yeah.
We were all
Hey,
pretty close to each
Yeah.
Like,
other.
it was like yeah.
Like an hour away max.
Yeah.
I was always in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something else is like you can make friends along the way.
That's
Mm.
true.
Like if you find out the person who's in the next center, you are
Yeah.
classmates. You can actually make friends
Reach
with
out.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine like in uni.
Like that's how I became friends with these two.
Imagine.
Like, internship. Imagine.
Wow.
Yeah. So make
Nice.
friends.
Mm. Yeah, and enjoy. Like those weekends you're not working, please.
Yeah.
You're not working.
Yeah.
Do something
Live your
else.
best life.
Yeah, like remember now one of our friends used to say if she's not working, she cannot be in that house of hers. She's
Yeah.
like, I have to leave. I have to go
I have
and
to
do
go
something.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we end, maybe we can talk about some tips to survive internship.
Okay.
Number one, just get another phone. Get another one.
Yeah.
And then the second tip is sleep when you can.
Yeah.
Regardless of time of day, whether it's 1 p.m. and you have an hour to sleep, imagine just sleep because you don't know how the night will be.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Another thing is save your money.
Yeah.
Save your money. Save your money. Yeah. You don't know how life after internship will be. Yeah. It gets better, but like the road towards reaching where you want to be might be rough. So just make sure you save. Yeah.
I would contradict her and say spend your money.
Yeah.
don't be stingy to yourself.
Yes.
Because what me and my friend used to say, like, you can't suffer in the hospital and then you come and suffer at home.
Yeah.
So we used to eat very good foods.
Hey.
Like very good food.
These
Food,
people.
Hey, we really used to
Well-
go down. So like yeah, so our expenditure a lot of it was on food. Yeah, and now like other tips. Because you also should reward yourself because you're actually working,
You're working
a
so
lot.
hard.
Imagine I'm learning that this year.
Yeah, hey, this girl.
To spoil yourself.
Yeah, like I find
This
it
girl
so
doesn't like spending
hard.
money on that.
Yeah,
I don't know why she is.
Yeah,
I
a
know.
girl. She is.
I am, and I'm really trying, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
Like she was spending how much money? Guy comes on food. Mimi. Pana.
Mine would be kind to your colleagues
Yeah.
because what goes
Mm.
around
Comes
comes around. So you never know when you'll meet them, and it just makes work life easier when you're getting along with people.
Another thing I can add, is again, you can learn from everyone.
Yeah.
Please don't go in there thinking, oh, me you're daktari huku. Because that will also make your life difficult.
Yeah.
And there's so much you can learn from the people there because they've been there longer than you.
Yeah.
Especially nurses. Nurses are your best friends. They know how things run.
Yeah.
And they know even how to manage these patients. Just maybe they don't have the mandate that you have.
Yeah.
But they will guide you. Like
Yeah.
I remember my first call in surgery, the nurse helped us suture because me I didn't know how to suture. The nurse just was struggling. He was like, like, can you suture it for the scalp wound? And you know how they bleed. And you're just
Yeah.
panicking there.
Yeah.
So he just was like, sutured first and he was like, I'll help you. You learn to by sleep, don't worry. Like having those people around really helps. And then having a friend when you're an intern, like going with someone familiar also really helps.
Yeah, it does.
Or being in the same area as people you can get to see a lot or talk
Yeah.
to a lot.
Yeah.
I have two. The first one is also don't be afraid to speak up. Like I was having a conversation with a friend, he's an intern now, and he was talking about how they were having a ward round and he could see what the patient had that like the MO and the consultant hadn't picked up. So like he spoke up and it was actually what the patient had. So the patient actually needed to be referred to a specialized hospital to Kenyatta. Yeah. So the consultant was like, yeah, that's good. You know, speak up if you're seeing something is not being done well and you can assist. Yeah. Another thing was, I've forgotten.
Don't be afraid to ask for help because you won't know everything. And like Tanya said, nurses, like 99% of them have been there longer than you have and have more experience, especially in maternity.
Yeah.
Like they are so
They run
great.
maternity.
They run
I have a comment about that.
Yeah.
Hey, like nurses can teach you how to do VEs properly.
Yeah.
You go there the first day, you're doing your vaginal examination,
Yeah.
and you're just feeling one thing.
You don't know what you-
Yeah, you're just manyana. Oh, you're just
You
like,
don't
oh, patient is
know.
5 centimeters. Then the nurse comes. And
They
just
laugh.
They laugh. Then they'll teach you like that because they know.
I think I felt my first cervix on week 3.
I know.
Yeah.
You are probably feeling
You
the
just-
the
you
walls.
just, like 4 cm.
Then another tip is please always have food in the fridge, because for those nights that you come and you're so tired, you won't be able to start cooking and you need to eat. So at least have something that you can eat before you sleep.
Or snacks.
Yeah,
Even
snacks.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing is if you feel like you're struggling in an internship center and you could change to go somewhere where you probably would be more comfortable, don't be afraid to do it. There are avenues that you can go to that can help you actually facilitate that move. You don't have to suffer.
In one internship center.
Yeah.
And then again, take care of yourself. Like, yes, you're working in this hospital. Yes, you feel like this hospital will not run when you're not there.
Hey, it will.
But the day you have a breakdown or you're unwell, that hospital will
They'll
run
replace
down
you.
so fast.
They'll replace you.
So you, as much as you want to put the patient's healthcare first and your duties as an intern in the hospital, your health is just as important. If something goes wrong, Aki, they'll replace you because I'm sorry to say you're just labor to them. Like, or rather, that's how I see it. You're more or less labor, free labor, because the hospital is not the one that pays you. It's the central government. Yeah.
So I think to close it up, we can end with make sure you enjoy internship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Try as much as possible.
Yeah, try as much as you can.
And don't be scared. You learn everything. Maybe not such an end to be to start internship, but you
I
learn
didn't know
the
how to fix
job.
a line.
I think I fixed 3 lines as an undergrad.
Yeah,
I never
we had
fixed a
space for
line in
like
pediatrics.
15.
Imagine. But you learn on the
Yeah,
job.
imagine
you
you
know.
learn. Yeah.
Even as CS, I used to wonder how can someone just say they know how to do a CS?
Imagine.
You were a student last year. Like,
Yeah.
what factory are you going to?
That's what factory.
Yeah, I was always like funny.
Which
As in, it's like,
yeah.
are you having like a session, like, a
With
workshop
someone,
for
yeah.
these senses? Like,
A workshop?
like me, I just really wondered. Then you
Yeah.
just realize you'll also learn and you'll also get there.
Yeah. And you'll end up even teaching others.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something or a few things. There's a lot more that can be said about internship. But for now, that's all we can share. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And see you next time. Bye.